Hey, folks, before I dive into the show today, I wanted to tell y'all real quick about my new book. It's called Haint Blues, and it features some of the greatest and strangest tales from all over the American South. It's available right now through Amazon, but your local bookstore can order the book through Ingram if you want to do it that way. If you love Southern culture and some dang good stories, go pick up Haint Blues. Thank y'all so much. Welcome to the State and Beal podcast. This is the place where we celebrate Tennessee, the volunteer state, the Big Bend state, the hog and hominy state. On this show, we love Tennessee from State Street in Bristol to Beale Street in Memphis, with apologies to Mountain City. My name is Toby Sells. I'm the host and producer over here at State and Beal. Today's show is all about one of the hottest festivals of the year in Tennessee. It's the Music City Hot Chicken Festival, and it's held every year on one of the hottest days of the year, 4th of July. This week I spoke with Neil McCormick. He's one of the festival's organizers. He told me exactly how hot chicken ought to be. He gave me a brief history of hot chicken and what it means to Nashville culture. And he even shared his innovative and favorite method to eat hot chicken. The festival starts this Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with its signature fire truck parade. Festival doors open at noon. It features music from Mad Waves, Afro Coco, Dylan Smucker, and Warren Blair. Beers and beverages from Yazoo Brewing, and of course, hot chicken to buy from Prince's Hot Chicken, Chicken Shack Express, Party Fowl, Hertz Hot Chicken, Eugene's Hot Chicken, Nashville Chicken and Waffles, Mama Joy's Hot Chicken, Hattie B's, and Slow Burn. There will also be the Hot Chicken Festival Amateur Cooking Competition with 6 amateur contestants this year. And there will be celebrity judges crowning the king and or queen of hot chicken. The festival is free. Pets are not recommended. No tents or coolers inside. And the event is rain or shine. All right, let's hear more about hot chicken from our new bud, Neil McCormick. Maybe you can just start at the very basics. What is Nashville hot chicken?
Well, man, that's a good one. Nashville hot chicken is, kind of morphed into a handful of different things, but to me, it is first you got to start off with good fried chicken. And I think a lot of people that have tried over the years have missed that memo of just starting out with good fried chicken. And then after that, depending on whatever your blend of spices that you decide to use, whether you cook them, toss them in there before you cook them, or whether you toss the chicken in it afterwards, it just all just kind of depends. In my opinion, good hot chicken, the flavor is balancing out of the heat. It's just not hot to be hot. You got to have that good savory, salty, sweet mix in there to kind of balance it out. I judge good hot chicken by what the bread underneath it looks like. It has to be served on white bread with pickles on top. And your white bread, you can always judge it. The white bread has to have the perfect balance of that orange grease on it. It can't be too much. You're going to be all greasy, and it can't be too little. It's going to be all dry. So you got to, everybody has their preference of what they like about, how they judge whether it's good or not.
That's amazing. Now, so I'll give you an outsider's perspective on this. I moved from Nashville kind of before hot chicken was a thing. You had Bolton's, you had Prince's, but it wasn't the thing, that it is now there. But I think from an outsider's perspective, people think of hot chicken as the inside, the meat of the chicken is hot as well. It's spiced as well as the outside of the chicken. Is that anywhere near correct?
Yeah, I mean, I have my weird tradition of the way I eat my hot chicken is I peel the skin off of it before
Okay.
I eat it, and then after I do that for 2 reasons. One, I after I get through, I make this ridiculous chicken skin pickle sandwich out of the bread and the leftover skin. But first and foremost, I want to taste the meat of the chicken. I want to taste the chicken meat and how well it's been spiced and what's cooked into it. So I think everybody has a little bit different way. Each hot chicken place has a different way that they do it. But to me, it should be cooked into the flavor of the chicken. in that spice.
Yeah, gosh, I'm telling you, that chicken skin sandwich, I mean, my mouth just watered. And that is,
You can't start, one, once you pick it up, you can't set it down. And two, once you start into it, it's this experience that it's just like, it's just hard. I don't know. I'm a sucker for things. It's like you can't get that flavor combo any other place or any other way,
yeah.
and it's like, that's special, and I have the same way with, I have a weird way with like ribs too, especially like, you being in Memphis is like, I eat my ribs on a piece of white bread also, just so I can balance out the amount of sauce that goes on them, So I just think after a while, everybody's got their thing and the way they do it.
Oh man, Neil, I can tell you're a man who lives well. I love that, man. That's fantastic. So, going back a little bit, we can even touch on the history of it a little bit. Maybe just start there. Like I said, I remember, I ate at Bolton's back in the day, and then I know Prince's was. But what's the history of hot chicken?
Well, the history is they actually an amazing lady wrote a really good book about it that was actually published by Vanderbilt Publishing. It's just called Hot Chicken Nashville Story. Rachel Louise Martin, and they'll actually have these books available at the festival. But she wrote a really good book about the history of it, and to me, it's as much of a history lesson about Nashville as it is about hot chicken. And the first documented instance of anything being listed on a menu as hot chicken being sold was, I believe, either 1953 or 1955. I know it's one of those two, by Thornton Prince, and he is this interesting character that had a pretty crazy life and background of what they were able to dig up, and especially as you know, in the South, we weren't the best at keeping records, and we know that especially with African American history, it's even harder for records that were kept. But what we do know is that the first time that he had ever put it on the menu, and the story that Princess tells of it is that he had a female acquaintance, whether it was a girlfriend or a wife, that, because he was married, I want to say like 2 or 3 different times where they've been able to find records, that he had crossed the line with her one way or the other, and to teach him a lesson, she had dosed up his regular Sunday fried chicken with his whatever spices she could find, and whatever the combo was that she tied into was something that he really liked, and he ended up taking to his restaurant that he would run on the weekends. Just kind of went from there, and from that point, it was really a smaller community. I think majority African American community at that point. For years, it's something that Mayor Purcell, when he started this festival 18 years ago, he always just said when he was mayor of Nashville, he took meetings at Prince's Hot Chicken than he did anywhere else. If you ever get a chance to eat hot chicken with him or Merrill Rose from News Channel 5 here, are two people that their heat level and the rest of the world, two different things. I can't imagine these poor people that he would take to Prince, and they think they could jump in there and get hot chicken with him and share the ride. He kind of took that on as, hey, Nashville needs something that is ours. He's always beaten that drum. This festival being the 18th year, it's an all volunteer festival. There's no promoters or anybody involved. It's a collective group of people that pull every string they can to get everybody involved to carry on the name of this, down to the poster art is created by Watkins College of Art students every year. We've never paid a graphics designer to do any of it. We pay the artist that creates them, but we've never paid like a firm to do it or anything. So, all that to say, it's kind of been this really cool grassroots thing of Nashville that's kind of even got it to the point where it's, as the kids would say, blown up over the last, 10, 15 years,
Yeah. Number one, there are a million stories in that I absolutely love, and the origin story is the best of all time. She was going to get him with that chicken. That's just fantastic.
Yeah. This one thing about I noticed after reading this book and talking to folks is that Thornton Prince is the one that everybody goes back to, and this one man that's done it. But in actuality, if you look at the history of hot chicken, the women are the ones that have really carried it and got it to this point, and will be taking it further because, Andre Prince now, she is the one that took over the family business and pushed it through and worked all those long hours and has been out in the front with press and everything that she can do over these years. And Dolly, the folks over at Bolton's also. Mm-hmm. And, between them and then the Prince family, the next generation is all female. that's taken over the helm and is running everything. And most of the folks in that organization are like that. And then, Hattie B's is named after a relative and stuff like that too, a female relative. And then, the Bishop family too, they, a lot of active females in that family also. So it's interesting to see, kind of where it started, but also the future is pretty bright,
Yeah, that is fantastic. I love it. And it has become a thing, and you can see that on television commercials, and you can see it up and down your grocery store aisles. Nashville chicken, and especially there for a minute, was everywhere, and it still is everywhere. What do you think about the rise of hot chicken and kind of getting that out there nationally, globally?
Well, man, I mean, like I said, from being in Memphis, it's kind of like a test when you go somewhere. If someone says Memphis style ribs, you're like, okay, what are we doing here? And I think that's, fried chicken, especially, being Southerners, we're pretty prideful of that. And I think it just adds a whole other wrinkle to that I am a huge sucker for regional foods or beverages.
Oh, yeah.
That you can't get everywhere, or you got to go to the source. And I think it's really cool that you take a state like Tennessee I'm originally from the state of Arkansas.
Yeah.
And don't be wrong, buddy, I'm not sure if we'll ever have a food or beverage that the world will know us by. And I'm not bombing on my home state. It is what it is. But when you look at a state like Tennessee that have a couple of them,
yeah,
that's a pretty big deal, and we're just talking about Memphis barbecue. We're not talking about West Tennessee barbecue you mix in there, but to have two iconic things like that you can go to anywhere in the world and use a reference of Memphis barbecue right alongside of Nashville hot chicken. And a lot of people have a reference to that, let alone, I think those are right up there, in my opinion, with what Jack Daniels is.
Absolutely.
And, that to me, I think that's pretty interesting because like Mayor Purcell, he was just, somewhere, I can't remember, Asia, I want Philippines. And, there's a place there that's got a Nashville hot chicken spot that he stepped into. And I think it's, it's interesting, these different places he travels, because he travels a good bit these days. And the places internationally he travels to, he's like, yeah, didn't expect to go here and find Nashville hot chicken. And it's, I think it's also his kind of, his subtle hat tip of like, yeah, I was a mayor of this city and we did all these things and, pushed it to the next level. I think it's something that I haven't asked him this specifically, maybe I should, but I think it's something that he's probably most proud of. Like, yeah, that came from like our home, I think that's pretty cool.
So fast forward 18 years ago, y'all got together, folks got together, started this hot chicken festival. It's a 4th of July tradition now in Nashville. I've never been. What can I expect when I show up?
Man, it's a party. And the thing about it being an all volunteer force is that it has, I always just said that every party you've ever gone to that was worth going to and was fun was just organized enough. And if you get something that's too organized, too produced, too detail oriented, it's just not fun. And we've always prided ourselves as an organizing committee to make sure that everybody is, one, welcome, but two, make that barrier of entry, just be there. Even if you're not a hot chicken fan, we want you to come with your family or friends and just hang out. And it's kind of a rite of passage for it to be on 4th of July. Every single year, I run the social medias for the festival. And every year, like clockwork, I get the same comments. And it may be the same person. I don't know. But I get them from the same people like, could y'all possibly have this on a hotter day? It's so miserable. Isn't something available in October? And it's like, sorry, man, this is what we do.
Yeah.
It's a rite of passage. If you're not going to come and eat the hottest thing at the hottest time of the year outside, it's like it's a badge of honor for everybody. I mean, and that's what we got. There'll be kids activities there. Yazoo, this will be, they've been along for the ride just about every year. The only alcoholic beverage we have, they've been on board as a supporter and sponsor for years. Linus and his whole family, the owners, Lila and Linus, will be out there. But Yazoo will be out there pouring beer. Like I said, we got kids activities. We got ice cream. We got the, King of Pops. We got all the core hot chicken spots that anybody would ever want to visit between Prince's, Bolton's, Hertz, Hattie B's, the folks over at Party Foul. They'll all be out there, and having the opportunity to try everybody at one spot is what we see a lot of people do. There'll be groups of 5 or 6. Everybody will go wait in a different line, and they will get their chicken, and I'll come back and just share in one spot. So it's just to make a day of it. We got stage with some great local acts that'll be up there, and you know, it's just a fun day. It's just a good hang. And then it's funny because right after the festival's over, everybody starts setting up their chairs in the park to start to get ready for the fireworks when it gets dark. So it's a fun day for everybody, and it's free.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's we've never charged for it. And this year we're moving the amateur cook-off competition back to the park also. We've had it off site for a few years, but that COVID made things weird. But
yeah,
we're back to having everything on site, so you get to watch that and see what other people do, and watch these poor judges that sometimes they know what they're getting into, sometimes they don't. So that's always fun to watch too. So it's a good day, man.
So I show up, like you said, it's free. Go in there, I go buy myself a beer. Do I go to the different stalls and buy hot chicken from the different restaurants?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You can go to different ones and buy. And there's even non-hot chicken food vendors there too. So if that's not your jam, you want to grab a hamburger, there'll be folks there, you know, slinging other foods and items like that too. So there's a big playground right there in the park for the kids too, that right there at the East Park Community Center, and right across the street's a turnip truck grocery store. And it's right in the heart of East Nashville. And it's the only place we've ever had it, is right there in East Park. And that's always been something that's been very, very important to the mayor, and everybody in the organizing committee, is to make it easy for folks in the neighborhood. You know, we don't, you can find street parking, but that's the point. It's the part of a neighborhood. It shouldn't be a production. Yeah. It should be easy for half the people to be able to walk or bike there, and everybody else can just find a spot, you know?
Absolutely. Well, Neil, this is great. Thank you so much for all your time. Is there anything we left out or anything you want to add?
No, man. Just like I said, if I'm excited for y'all to make it out and kind of experience it. Like I said, it's just to get there and just kind of settle in for the hang and just kind of make a day of it at the park, you know.
Thank y'all so much for joining me on this hot episode of State and Beal. If you're in Nashville Thursday, head to the Hot Chicken Festival. I'll be there with my family. I'll have on a brown straw Stetson hat, so if you see me, come say hey. All right, happy 4th to all y'all out there. We'll see you back here real soon for more State and Beal.